How to Become a Businessman Without Money, a motivational speech introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. If you're sitting around waiting for money before you start your dream, you'll be waiting your entire life. You don't need money to start a business. You need vision, you need grit, and you need to refuse to quit. Too many people think capital is the first step. It's not. Clarity is. Courage is. Consistency is. You want to become a businessman without money? Then listen close, because I'm about to give you the truth. Not the version that looks good on social media, but the version that builds real success. 1. Start with what you know, not what you own. You may not have money, but you have knowledge, you have experience, you have perspective. Don't chase the big idea. Start with what's already in your hands. What can you do better than most people? What problem can you solve? Can you bake, write, clean, design, teach, fix, organize, or lead? A business is simply a solution to a problem. You don't need money to start solving problems. You need initiative. One of the most powerful truths about starting a business is this: you don't need to own a lot, you just need to know a lot. When people think of entrepreneurship, they often think of money, office space, staff, and shiny logos. But in reality, businesses are built on value, not stuff. The most successful entrepreneurs in the world didn't begin with capital. They began with competence. They started with what they knew, not what they owned. Your knowledge is your first asset. Your skills, your life experience, your understanding of a particular problem, that's where your business begins. Maybe you know how to cook, organize, code, clean, repair things, teach, write, or sell. Maybe you've worked years in a certain industry. Maybe you've just gone through a tough life challenge that taught you something others still struggle with. All of that is currency, and you don't have to buy it because you already have it. Starting with what you know means identifying your value zone. It's that intersection between what you're good at and what other people need. Too often, people get stuck believing they need to invent something brand new. That's not true. You just need to offer a solution people are already looking for, only better, faster, more personal, or more convenient than what they're getting now. Let's be clear, ownership can come later. The website, the storefront, the team, the capital, that all comes after value is proven. In fact, having too much money at the start can actually be a disadvantage. It can make you lazy, distracted, or overly focused on presentation instead of execution. When you don't have much, you get creative, you get lean, you learn how to make things happen without excuses. That's what sharpens your business instincts. Here's a real example that brings this to life. A young man in his 20s had no money, no connections, and no business degree, but he had one thing. He was great at fixing smartphones. He'd been doing it for friends and family since high school. One day, he realized people were always asking him for help. Broken screens, battery replacements, water damage. He didn't own a store. He didn't even have a professional toolkit, but he had knowledge, so he started offering mobile repair services. He used social media and word of mouth. He'd meet clients in coffee shops, at their homes, or at their jobs. He charged less than the big stores and delivered better service. Eventually, he saved up enough to buy better tools. Then he got a cart in a mall. Later, he opened a small shop. Today, he runs a multi-location repair business. And it all started with a skill he already had. He didn't wait for a loan. He didn't write a 40-page business plan. He just started with what he knew and turned it into what he owned. That's the key. Ownership is built over time, but knowledge is available right now. And the beauty of starting with what you know is that it's already been tested. You know the problems. You know the customers. You speak the language. You have the inside edge. So instead of asking, what do I need to buy to start a business? Ask, what do I already know that others will pay for? Because when you start from what you know, you're not just starting a business. You're starting from truth. And truth is the strongest foundation there is. Start where you are. Use what you know. And let what you own come as a result of your value, not the starting point. That's how real businesses are born. 2. Use what you've got to build what you don't have. No money. Fine. You've still got a phone. You've got internet. You've got time. You've got energy. Leverage those. You can start a business with a smartphone and free apps. You can build a brand using free social platforms. You can learn any skill you want on YouTube or through free courses. You can sell a service, build a following, and market your idea. all without spending a dollar. People say, I'm broke. No, you're just underdeveloped. Build yourself, your skill, your discipline, your voice, and let that become your capital. One of the most important truths in business and in life is this: you don't need everything to start. You just need to use what you've got to build what you don't have. That's how progress works. That's how legacies are built, from the inside out, not the outside in. Too many people sit back waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect funding, the perfect team, or the perfect tools. But the truth is, the perfect moment never comes. The resources you think you need are often unlocked after you take action with what's already in your hands. Every great entrepreneur, artist, leader, or builder started with limits, limited money, limited support, limited access, but they made something happen anyway. They didn't focus on what was missing. They focused on what was available. They looked around, took inventory of their skills, tools, time, connections, and energy, and they got to work. That's the real secret to creating anything valuable. Resourcefulness, not resources. You've got a phone, that's a business tool. You've got internet access, that's a global education. You've got 2 hours in the evening after work. That's the start of your second stream of income. You've got 5 loyal friends, that's your test market. You've got social media, that's free marketing. The truth is, most people have more than they realize, but they waste energy complaining about what they lack instead of building with what they have. Using what you've got forces creativity. It teaches you how to make things work without overspending or overplanning. It humbles you, sharpens you, and prepares you for the moment when the bigger opportunities arrive. Because when they do come, you'll already know how to move with discipline, clarity, and hustle. Here's a perfect example. There was a young woman who dreamed of starting a fashion brand, but she had no money, no design degree, and no connections in the industry. What she did have was a passion for fashion, a good eye, and a sewing machine her grandmother gave her. That's all. So she got to work. She started creating small custom pieces from home. She posted them on Instagram. Friends asked for their own. She offered styling tips, shared behind the scenes videos of her process, and started taking simple orders. She reinvested every dollar she made into better materials. No fancy website, no paid ads, just pure creativity, service, and consistency. Over time, her following grew. So did her product quality. Eventually, she launched a small online store. That online store led to pop-up events. The pop-ups led to partnerships. The partnerships led to press. And what started as a hobby in a bedroom with a second-hand sewing machine turned into a full-fledged brand with national recognition. She didn't start with a business loan. She started with what she had, and she used it to build what she didn't. That's how real success stories are written. So take a look around. What are you sitting on? What skills, tools, contacts, or experiences are you underestimating? What are you waiting for that you could start building with the scraps already in your possession? Because the truth is, those scraps are the foundation. That time, that phone, that free trial, that one opportunity, they're your start. Not your end. The people who win in life aren't the ones who had the most to begin with. They're the ones who used what they had with purpose and refused to let excuses write their story. So don't wait. Build, learn, grow, stack small wins, and as you go, what you don't have will show up. Why? Because momentum attracts resources, and motion creates opportunity. Use what you've got, build what you don't. That's how empires begin, with what's already in your hands. 3. Solve first, sell second. Don't focus on selling a product. Focus on solving a need. The moment you become a solution, people will pay attention. You don't need a loan to be useful. You need to be in demand. Ask yourself daily, who can I help? What can I fix? Where can I add value? The money follows the value, always. When people trust your solution, they'll trust your price. But if you skip the service and go straight the sale, you've already lost. If you want to build a business that lasts, that thrives, and that earns people's trust, you need to live by one principle: solve first, sell second. Too many people start their business journey thinking like salesmen. They ask, how can I sell this? Instead of asking, whose problem can I solve? That mindset is backward. And it's the reason most businesses fail, because people don't buy products. They buy solutions. They buy relief. They buy time, clarity, security, status, peace of mind. If your product or service doesn't give them any of that, it doesn't matter how good it looks, how cheap it is, or how many followers you have. It won't last. Solving first means putting the customer at the center of your strategy, not yourself. It means thinking about their frustration, their confusion, their goals, their fears. What do they deal with every day that you can make easier, faster, better, or more enjoyable? That's the foundation of any great business. When you solve something real, you don't have to sell. In the traditional sense, people come looking for you because you have what they need. It also means listening. Before you even build your product or launch your service, you need to be listening, watching, asking questions, testing ideas, seeing what people complain about, what they wish existed, what they waste time or money on trying to fix. The more you understand their pain, the sharper your solution will be, and the sharper your solution, the faster the sale happens, because it won't feel like a sale, it'll feel like an answer. Let's look at an example. There was a college student who was tired of how hard it was to find healthy, affordable meals on campus. Every option was either too expensive, too unhealthy, or too time-consuming to prepare. He realized he wasn't the only one struggling with this, so instead of starting a business just to make money, he decided to solve the exact problem he and thousands of students were dealing with. He created a small meal prep service targeted at students, with simple, healthy, affordable options that could be delivered to campus twice a week. He didn't start with fancy packaging or slick branding. He just focused on making the food tasty, convenient, and reliable. He tested a few menus, delivered them himself, and asked for feedback. Word spread fast. Within a semester, he had hundreds of weekly orders. Why? Because he solved something real. He didn't try to push a product. He filled a gap. He made life easier for people who needed it. The selling part took care of itself. That's the key difference between a business that makes noise and a business that makes impact. One is chasing people to buy. The other is being chased because it solves something worth paying for. When you solve first, you earn trust. You earn repeat customers. You earn referrals. You build a foundation that's rooted in service, not hype. And when you operate from that place, your business doesn't just make money, it creates value, long-term, sustainable value. So, if you're thinking about starting a business or growing one you already have, ask yourself, what problem am I solving? Who am I solving it for? And how clearly can I prove that this solution works? Because once you solve something real, the selling becomes a natural byproduct, not a battle. You don't need to scream for attention. People will find you. Solve first. That's the mission. Serve people. Fix something that matters, and then sell. Not as a pushy pitch, but as the answer they've been looking for. That's how real businesses are built. That's how trust is earned. And that's how success finds you, not because you chased it, but because you created something the world actually needed. 4. Build relationships before revenue. You might not have capital, but you can build social capital, connect with others, offer help, build goodwill, find mentors, join communities, show up. Opportunities don't just come from cash. They come from connections. The right conversation can be worth more than a loan. Shake hands, show up, add value. People will remember that long after the money runs out. In the pursuit of success, it's easy to get caught up in the numbers, the profits, the sales, the bottom line. But the truth is, if you want to build something that lasts, something that grows with integrity and strength, you have to build relationships before you chase revenue. Because in business, money is not the foundation, trust is. And trust is born from real relationships. Every great business starts with people, not products, not price tags. People. Relationships are the bridge that carries your vision to the world. Whether it's with your customers, your team, your partners, or your community, those connections are the heartbeat of everything you do. You can have the best product in the world, but if nobody trusts you, if nobody believes in you, if nobody feels seen or valued by you, your business will stall before it ever begins. People don't buy from businesses, they buy from people, and they don't buy because you sold them hard. They buy because they believe you understand them, because you listened, because you cared, because you showed up. That belief is what turns a customer into a supporter into a fan, and a fan into a lifelong ambassador. Building relationships first also gives you leverage you can't buy with money. When people believe in you, they talk about you, they promote you, they open doors for you, they give you feedback that makes your product stronger, they forgive your mistakes, they want to see you win. That kind of loyalty can't be manufactured. It's earned through consistency, humility, and real human connection. Relationships also create opportunities. Your next investor, your next business partner, your next big client. They could be sitting at your next meeting, in your social media inbox, or in your friend's circle. But if you're too focused on chasing dollars, you'll miss the people who can actually help you grow beyond your imagination. Doors don't just open because you have a good pitch. They open because someone knows you, trusts you, and is willing to put their name next to yours. Here's a real-life example that brings this to life. There was a young man who wanted to break into the digital marketing world. He had no clients, no portfolio, no testimonials, just skills he'd learned through free courses and personal practice. Instead of cold pitching his services and begging for business, he took a different approach. He started showing up in online communities, offering free advice, helping people solve small problems, and sharing useful content. He didn't ask for anything. He just added value, day in, day out. Over time, people started to take notice. They remembered his name. They appreciated his help. They trusted his insights. And when they did need to hire someone, guess who they called? The guy who had already built the relationship. The guy who showed up when there was nothing to gain. That's how he landed his first few clients. And those clients referred more clients. Eventually, he had a full roster of business without ever spending a dime on advertising. He didn't chase the money. He built the relationships, and the revenue followed. That's the lesson. Focus on people first. Learn their names. Understand their pain points. Celebrate their wins. Stay authentic. Be generous. When people feel like more than just a transaction, they don't just pay you. They stand with you. So remember this. Relationships are not distractions from your business. They are your business. Revenue will come and go, but real connections, they build brands, they create movements, they carry your name into rooms you never imagined. Build the trust, build the bond, and let the money be the echo of the value you gave. That's how empires are built, one relationship at a time. 5. Master the free hustle. Freelance, consult, clean houses, tutor, run errands, sell digital services, sell products you don't own, affiliate links or dropshipping, flip items. Start small. Every dollar you make is not just income, it's proof that you can do it. Hustle isn't about hype, it's about consistency. Build slow, steady, and smart. Before you earn big checks, before you sign contracts, before you get the recognition or validation, there's one lane you have to master: the free hustle. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, it won't show up in your bank account, at least not right away, but it's the proving ground where the seeds of your success are planted. The free hustle is the stage where you build your value. Develop your voice, refine your skills, and earn your name, not with money, but with action. Too many people are waiting to get paid before they get moving. They want to be compensated before they create, acknowledged before they've added value, or hired before they've proven their worth. But real players, people who go the distance, don't wait for permission. They show up and hustle for free first. Not forever, but for long enough to get in the game, long enough to earn attention, long enough to develop something undeniable. The free hustle is not about being taken advantage of. It's about strategically using your time, energy, and skill to build a name, reputation, or portfolio. It's about turning nothing into something. It's about saying, I may not have the capital yet, but I've got the grind. And I'm willing to put that grind to work for proof. When you hustle for free, you're not just showing others what you can do. You're showing yourself. You're building confidence. You're learning how to communicate your value. You're making mistakes while the stakes are low. You're getting feedback, adjusting, adapting, and improving. Free hustle is also a magnet. When people see you giving your best without asking for a paycheck up front, it grabs their attention. It earns respect, because it tells them you're not just in this for the money. You're in it because you believe in what you do, and that belief is contagious. Let's walk through a powerful example. There was a young woman who dreamed of becoming a professional event planner. She had no resume, no connections, no portfolio, just a deep love for design and detail. Most people would have waited for someone to take a chance to offer a job to pay for her creativity, but not her. She got to work. She started planning events for free. Wren's birthdays, baby showers, even small community gatherings. She treated each one like a high-profile client. She showed up early, stayed late, and brought excellence to every detail. She took photos, documented her work, and shared her process on social media. Soon, people noticed. They saw the care she put into everything she touched. They saw her professionalism, and when it came time for someone to plan a wedding, a corporate event, or a charity gala, guess who they called? The woman who had already proven herself, not with words, but with action. Her free hustle became her marketing. It built her brand. It created a demand. Within a year, she was booked out, charging full rates and turning away more clients than she could accept. But it all started with hustle, unpaid, unseen, but undeniable. That's the power of the free hustle. So here's the truth. If you don't have the money yet, that's not a reason to stay stuck. That's your invitation to move. Find a way to work for proof. Build your portfolio, your reputation, your track record. Volunteer. Intern, contribute, create content. Offer your services to those who need it most. Make your name ring before you ever cash a check. Because the hustle you give when no one's paying you is the hustle that shapes who you become when everyone is. Master it, respect it, and let the world see what you can do when the only reward is pride and progress. The free hustle is where legacy begins. 6. Reinvent your mindset before you reinvent the market. No business survives with a broken mindset. You've got to think like a businessman before you become one. That means waking up with purpose, moving with integrity, and acting like someone whose time matters. Even if nobody's watching yet. Study business, study people, study failure. Train your thinking to stay hungry and humble. The greatest investment you'll ever make is the one you make in your mindset. Before you can change the world, you've got to change the way you see the world, and more importantly, how you see yourself in it. You can't reinvent the market until you reinvent your mindset. That's not just a cute phrase, it's a law. Because the greatest limitations in business, in creativity, and in success don't come from the outside. They come from inside the mind. From old beliefs, fear, doubt, excuses, or inherited ideas about what's possible and what's not. You can't build a powerful business with a powerless mindset. Most people try to change everything around them. Their job, their product, their city, even their followers, without first changing the way they think. They study strategy, they follow trends, they try to hack growth, but they never deal with the root issue, how they view risk, failure, effort, and themselves. And that's why they stay stuck. Because no matter how good your plan is, if your mind is still trapped in scarcity, insecurity, and hesitation, that plan won't go far. Reinvention starts in your thoughts. It starts when you challenge everything you were taught about money, success, status, and failure. It starts when you stop saying, "I can't," and start asking, "How can I?" It starts when you stop blaming your circumstances and start owning your choices. Until your mindset shifts, your business can't scale, because you'll sabotage it without even knowing it. Think about this. You can't market a new idea if you're still afraid to speak boldly. You can't raise capital if you believe rich people are greedy. You can't build a team if you think nobody can do it like you. You can't take risks if yourself. Worth is tied to being perfect. That's why mindset isn't optional, it's foundational. It sets the tone for every decision you make. Let's bring this down to a real life story. There was a man who worked at a local print shop. He had talent, discipline, and a deep interest in graphic design. But for years, he never started his own business because he believed no one would take him seriously without a degree. That was his mindset. I'm not qualified enough. He saw other designers charging high rates, but he kept undercharging. He stayed stuck in a job he had outgrown because his thoughts were stuck in limitation. One day, after reading a book about mindset and hearing stories of self-made entrepreneurs who didn't wait for permission to begin, something clicked. He realized the real barrier wasn't his lack of a degree. It was the belief that he needed one to begin. So he got to work on himself first. He started building confidence. He invested in his learning. He challenged his own assumptions. He shifted his self-talk. He stopped saying, "I'm not ready," and started saying, "I'm learning as I go." Within a year of that shift, he launched his own design brand. He used social media to showcase his work. He networked. He raised his rates. He built a client base. And he started teaching other aspiring designers how to build without credentials. Only proof and performance. The market didn't change. His mindset did. And that changed his life. That's the message. You don't wait for the world to shift in your favor. You shift you. You become the kind of person who thinks bigger, braver, and better. You reprogram your beliefs to serve your future, not your past. Because once you do that, the market can't ignore you. The people you want to serve will feel that energy, that certainty, that ownership. And they'll follow it. So before you try to launch the next big thing or dominate your industry, do the real work first. Upgrade your mind, stretch your belief, clean out the fear, expand your vision. Because the market reflects your mind, reinvent your mindset, and you'll be ready to reinvent anything. Closing words. So how do you become a businessman with no money? You start. You serve. You solve. You show up every single day like you've already built the empire you're still chasing. Forget about what you don't have. Focus on what you can become. Because the truth is this: it's not money that makes the man, it's the man that makes the money. You are built for more. You don't need permission. You don't need a perfect plan. You need discipline. You need vision. You need heart. And if you've got that, then money can't stop you. Now go build it.